Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Havoc, and what you're seeing right now is Infiltration of Shanghai. Yes, it exists, and it's only on the battlefield for CTE. So, if you have premium, I highly recommend that you come and take the opportunity to play the first ever official night map that was being created by Dice LA, and I want to hear your guys' feedback after you've played a few hours on it. Now, for the most part, Infiltration of Shanghai looks absolutely stunning, but there is still some minor changes and adjustments that the Dice LA team needs to make in order to make this map more realistic. For the most part, the map is fairly dark, so the visibility is a little bit lower. However, there are still some parts of the map that still have quite a bit of lighting. Now, even though you can destroy some of the objects that do provide the light, some objects cannot be destroyed and some objects can be. However, there is still some light that emits from them. So this is something that the team is going to be actively changing to make it seem more functional in a sense. Now, when it comes to night maps, you will usually need special gadgets or accessories to assist you with spotting your enemies. For this, we would naturally use the INRV and the FLIR. However, these attachments do need some minor tweaking to have them be more effective while looking into darker areas. But if you are looking into a more well-lit area, they function well enough as if you would be using them on any other day map. So these attachments are still useful to use, but are they a necessity? No. You can still very well use any normal attachment to see your enemy, but the nighttime gadgets will usually aid in helping you see targets at a farther distance. And speaking of targets, Infiltration of Shanghai is currently set to Classic Mode, which eliminates the 3D spotting feature. This to me is an absolute must, because if I'm going to play a night map, I want to be able to fully immerse myself into that type of atmosphere, where I need to use my senses and my skill to locate and kill my enemy. Now, for me, this mode would probably be best played on hardcore, but because the core of the players play on normal mode, this will probably be tweaked to fit that playstyle, even if I don't agree with it. But if they do decide to implement this map into the normal game, I would greatly hope that they would keep the functions of Classic Mode and Hardcore Mode active, and I would definitely expect and recommend that you yourself play this map on those settings to get the full experience, and then you can make your decision on which one you'd like better. Now let's jump back on track about the actual map itself. While the map is fairly dark, there are still a lot of well-lit areas that assist you with visual distance. Now this is not necessarily a bad thing, but I would like to see this map a tad bit darker to give it more of a creepy feeling. I do know, however, that with the recent update to the community test environment, they created their form of Levolution to be a complete city blackout after the match has been running about 3 minutes in. This is fantastic, although I'm not so sure if I want it to be completely scripted. Now, however, prior to the update, DICE actually had placed an interactive button on the map so that a player could manually cause the city blackout. It's a nice idea, but I think that there should be more thought put into it in terms of having multiple events that a player must do before triggering the actual Levolution. Another thing that you will notice on this map is that DICE has taken away all rooftop access. Yes. This means no elevators and no camping of the rooftops. This was something that would absolutely drive me freaking nuts, leaving less action on the ground and more rage from being killed from up above. So instead of the C flag being on the top of the building, it's placed in the lobby, which proposes more focus on infantry play. And while there is a lot of infantry play, there are still some vehicles that you can use to your advantage. Most of the vehicles, however, don't really feel as beneficial since I really can't see anything without certain vehicle upgrades like the thermal optics. Not to mention the HMVs, which have no headlights, so I am merely driving off pure memory of the map. But with the recent patch, DICE will be adding lights to the vehicles to make them a bit more useful and, well, again, more realistic. But how does the game run and feel in the CTE with all the changes? DICE has added a few features to the heads-up display, which feeds more information to the player. Things such as the ammo and medkit icons next to your squad member's name, graying out a player's name if the player is dead, and that's only if you're looking at the actual scoreboard, and even outlining the live feed of a squad mate in red if they are in some sort of engagement with the enemy. And this kind of reminds me of Medal of Honor Warfighter. But what about the guns? Well, DICE has been consistently working on changing the gun mechanics as well as trying to balance everything out. For me, some guns seem to have a bit more kick or recoil than that of the actual vanilla game. This is good since we want to be able to utilize more skill than actual spraying and praying. And so far, everything else pretty much feels fine except for the random occasional lag spikes and dying behind walls. Keep in mind though that this is always still being worked on by the DICE LA team in order to try to better our experience in game. So now for the real question. Will we get an expansion pack solely full of night maps? Well, this has not yet been 100% confirmed, but I think the odds will be in our favor. And if they do add this as extra DLC, it will be worth every single penny. Now let me ask you a question though. What maps do you think will be in the expansion if DICE decides to release it? I would personally love to see Zvad 311, Operation Mortar, and Dragon's Pass, all of which will provide a different setting for a different experience. But what maps would you guys like to see? Let me know down in the comments below. But guys, that's all for me today. Thank you so much for watching and enjoy the rest of the gameplay.
我需要你攻击这个目标。小心！